Hi and welcome to all the racing lovers around the globe joining us for this pre-recorded show on Saturday morning for the Sunday meeting, which is at Hollywoodbets Greyville on the turf track, the 6th of April. It is Sunday. Joining me in studio is Graham Hawkins. Lovely to have you in town, Graham. How are you doing and what do you make of the card?
Very tough card. Thanks, Sheldon. Nice to be with you in the studio. It's a tough card. It's a tough card, complicated even further by the fact that obviously with all this rain around, the work has been interrupted. At best, it's going to be a very soft track. So it's going to be a challenging day, but a day where if you get it right, if you play it right, you could be handsomely rewarded.
Well, there you've heard from Graham. If you play it right, we're going to come out on top with some money in the pockets. Without any further ado, the informed stable of Dean Kannemeyer. Let's find out about the favourite in race number 1, Gurkha.
Yeah, Warren Gurkha travelled well from Cape Town, settled in nicely, and he's had a short break. His form is fair in Cape Town. Last run, didn't pull up so happy after his last run. I'll give him a short break. Had to work on him, and I'm very happy the way he's been moving. He's nicely drawn, and I'm expecting a good run from him, unless he gets lost first time at Greyville. But he's raced it. He's had a few runs, so I think he'll be fine. But he's doing well.
Well, there we got some interesting comments from Dean Kannemeyer about the favourite Gurkha, who opened up at 16-10 and has shortened down 13-10. Number 9, Master du Rouvray at 2-1, and then they are betting 10-1 and better the field. Now, Graham, you know your Cape form very well, and this horse Gurkha, disappointing last time out, but we heard he didn't pull up all that happy. And then this horse Master du Rouvray has found often good support when it comes down to race time.
Yeah, they've certainly been backing him, but what worries me about Master du Rouvray is, he's had a stop-start career. He's only had the 4 starts to date. This will be his 3rd run as a gelding. They put the lights out last time from 9-2 into 16-10, only failed by half a length. So we have to assume this is 3rd run as a gelding. He's going to strip very fit, so he should run a very good race. You mentioned the Cape form. I think the Cape form is undoubtedly stronger, and Gurkha's first 3 runs were eye-catching, a very disappointing last run, but we've heard the excuses. Interestingly, the best weighted runner, according to the official handicapper ratings, is Master du Rouvray and not Gurkha. I wouldn't want to bet against Gurkha because Kannemeyer has hit the ground running here in KwaZulu-Natal with his first half a dozen runners or so yielding 5 winners. But I also wouldn't like to take the 12-10. So it's one of those races where I think you've just got to play around with quartets. It's going to be interesting to see how the first race goes, how the track shapes up on the day with all the rain that we've had. But I wouldn't want to bet against the Zaki Kannemeyer combination, although clearly Mark Dixon's runner does present a real threat. But like I said, I wouldn't like to take the 12-10.
Well, we're on the same page there. If it wins, it can win and win well, and happy to those who have a bet on it. And then a horse like number 1, Firelighter, after that second to Katavar, a horse that you have to throw into the play. But race number 1, you're either going to be with the supported favourite number 5, Gurkha, or you're going to make up your mind and go with your selection. As we hit the straps for race number 2, which is over 1,400 metres, without any further ado, let's get some comments from Louis Goosen.
Cotton Ron, he's a horse with issues, and I think his best run was the win at Scottsville. Now we're at Greyville, and also last time he came from stone last to go through the field, but he had no chance of the winner, so he ran a good second. And this 1,400 race, well, we're trying it. He hasn't won. He's tried 3 times over 14. He hasn't won over 14. So we're trying the race. He's working quite nicely at home. He's got to be included.
So there you heard a horse that needs to be included, Cotton Ron. When you look at race number 2, number 1, Le Ultimo is at 28-10. Scratched is number 4, Mariachi Madness. So there will be a 15% deduction, thus the changing in the betting. Number 2, Beach Palace 7-2, and then number 8, Cotton Ron at 9-2. Graham, let's kick off with number 1, Le Ultimo, a horse who's in tremendous form, but unfortunately is coming back from quite an absence. And with all the rains about, it's more than likely he's a big strapping horse that he might just be a little bit underdone.
Might just be a little underdone. Michael Roberts does report that the 5-year-old son of the United States is doing well at home. My concern would be obviously the break and his turf record, 7 starts for a complete blank. His 2 wins have come on the poly track. Yes, he's drawn in pole position. Yes, his form prior to his break was very good. But that turf track record really worries me, and this is a favourite that, with all the information at our disposal, I'd be happy to take on. That being said, it's a Class 5, it's 1,400 metres, there are many with chances. I do like the look of Cotton Ron with the 4-claimer Jacques Boerters aboard, carrying just 53.5. Andre Nel comes with a double-barreled gun in the form of 3 Rafiki and 10 McHardys. You know, you can never discount his runners. Gorgeous Dude has got some form. It's a trappy little race. It's not easy to nail your colours to the mast. Paul Lafferty stables in good form. 2 Beach Palace. Winner last time, could follow up. Nice draw. Yeah, obviously got 61 to shoulder the Patala Palace gelding. But this is not going to take a lot of winning. You need a little bit of luck and you need to act in the going. As you've mentioned, we're down to just 9 runners with the scratching of number 4, Mariachi Madness. But I'm not saying L'Ultimo can't win because of the fact that he's never performed that well on the turf, because the deep ground might suit him. It's not going to be fast ground, it's going to be deep ground, and that might suit him. But I'd be happy to take him on. It's a trappy start to the bipod. I know that's your bet of choice, and you've gone with numbers 1 and 2 in the opening leg of the bipod, so you obviously like Beach Palace as the backup.
Yes, I'm going with number 2, Beach Palace, and when you look through majority of the field, they haven't run exceptionally well in the wet conditions. Beach Palace has won 2, and both have won in the wet conditions. So Beach Palace, for me, that's the horse that I'm going to stick my neck out on the line, and hopefully he comes through.
Well, I'm not going to be of much help in this race, except to say that I do think that number 8, Cotton Ron, is alive, but there are many that are alive in a trappy race, so hopefully with numbers 1 and 2 in the opening leg of the bipod, you get through. It's going to be interesting to see how L'Ultimo goes, but Beach Palace is certainly the one in form.
Well, let's go with number 2, Beach Palace, and number 8, Cotton Ron. So some swingers and exactors, and the 4 kgs off for JC Boerters will certainly be a big help on number 8, Cotton Ron, and those will be the 2 horses that we could be looking for, the exactors and the swingers. Moving along to the opening leg of the place accumulator, which is race number 3, and all things being equal, 1320 over 1400 meters, and we do have an interview package lined up for you.
Yeah, he's holding his form very well in Cape Town. He just says he's looking to win 3 in a row. First time over 1400 meters. I'm convinced that he'll get the trip, although there's a lot of speed in the female line. He's by a fifth out of a Karari mare. He's nicely drawn, big advantage at Greyville. He's doing well. First time around the turn at Durbanville, he didn't handle that left-hand turn very well, but it was he also came back from a long break after surgery. But I'm sure he'll get the trip, but he's doing well. He's a nice type of horse, and Syndicate's going to have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, listen, the last time over the 18, he just did too much and travelled far too hard. So, if he can just settle a little bit over the 14, he hangs in well. So I think, if he settles, then he'll be a big runner. Yeah, he's first time back in the handicap for a while. He's been running those pinnacles, which is just probably not quite good enough for. So, like I say, dropped down into a handicap. His best form on the poly over 12, but like I say, his last couple of races have been good, and he's in a good space, and hopefully he'll be running at them.
Yes, Warren, he's in great form, racing well. His track works continue to be out the top draw, so we're very happy with him. If he was drawn a low number, I could be supremely confident that he would be hard to beat, but he's drawn a sticky gate in 10, so he's going to need a lot of luck from there. Yes, Asi Blasi had 1 start for us, his first start for the stable. We were quite happy with the run, and he seems to have made the necessary improvements from then until now. Drawn very bad again, 13 out of 13, 1400 at Greyville. That's the kiss of death. So he's probably not going to be ready to win come Sunday, but he'll be one to follow.
So there we go, one to follow in the time to come as we look at race number 3 and number 6, Proud Master, 25 to 1. This is my lurker in the pack. And Graham, just listening to Stuart Ferry, although he is better on the poly, he's a big individual, probably better over 1200 meters. He's a horse that I've managed to catch right on a good few occasions. He's just got to up his game that length or two on the turf track though.
Interesting runner because he has won on the turf, although he's won 7 other races on the poly track. And as Stuart mentioned there, he's dropping in class, whereas Golden Destiny is rising in class. So the average merit rating of his last 2 runs have been in the order of 103, 104, drops down to an average merit rating 90 race. Whereas Golden Destiny goes up from an average merit rating 76 of his last win up to a 90 and goes 1,400 metres for the first time, and also on the turn here at Hollywoodbets Greyville for the first time. So it's an interesting race. So Proud Master certainly could run well above his odds. I like the comments from Matthew de Kock regarding number 10, Turconnell. Obviously the draw for both these runners, Turconnell and Icy Blast, is a worry. Nelson Bay, Stars in Heaven, they must have chances. You like Proud Master as a lurker. I think the lurker in the pack could be Strathclyde. I think you've got to draw a line through his last run. He's unbeaten, won from 1 over track and trip. He's won 3 times over the course, over the distance from only 5 starts. So he's possibly at his best over 1,400 meters, and he's a dangerous front runner if the conditions suit him. And Rachel can get away from the field. Strathclyde could also be a big danger in a race like this. I've gone with numbers 1 and 10 in the opening leg of the place accumulator, being Golden Destiny and Turconnell. Golden Destiny, the Panama stable we mentioned earlier, is firing on all 4 cylinders. Plaza Accord is another, from a good gate that you can't ignore. We mentioned at the top of the show that this is a tough, challenging card for all the reasons we've mentioned. Work patterns have been interrupted. They're going to be running on a very soft track. So who handles the conditions best on the day could well come out on top here. But you wouldn't want to bet against the Canamaz stable from pole position, the way his runners have landed running in KwaZulu-Natal. But I do think this is quite a competitive middle stakes.
Well, looking at number 5, Strathclyde, quite interesting. Comes in the best weighted runner with Rachel Venica taking the 1.5 off the back from number 6, Proud Master. So maybe we can take a bit of a flyer there, some swingers, exactors, and maybe for the quartets, and then throw in horses like number 1, Golden Destiny, number 2, Plaza Accord, and even number 10, Turconnell. And then just note that number 12, Max the Magician, is the scratching.
Yeah, I think Quartets is going to be the interesting bet, apart from the exotics, the multiple-legged exotics. I think Quartets are going to be interesting because they pay nicely, and you get an opportunity to see how they go down to the gates, how they appear to be handling the conditions on the day. So, and you'll get some kind of clue as we progress through the card as to how the track is running. Is it favouring the front runners? Are they coming from off the pace? All of these things are important, and the nice thing about Quartets is it's race by race. So what you learn through the day, often when you put on your PAs and your pick sixes and you discover there's a track bias or the front runners are being favoured, it's too late to factor those principles into your reckoning. But obviously Quartets are a lovely bet.
Well, Graham summarised it perfectly. These are the type of races where you watch them in the parade ring, watch them go down to the start, and then you find your winners from there. So hopefully that can give you a little bit more insight and you come out on top. Welcome back for race number 4. All things being equal, 13:55 will be the carded off time. It's over a trip of 1,800 meters. And race number 4, we do have an interview package with Louis Gerson, Stuart Ferry, and also Matthew de Kock.
Yeah, Elusive Bell could probably be our best runner on the day if she's not allowed, if they don't come cut her throat. In the last 2 runs, Serena was just unfortunate in that he found a youngster that didn't know the pace too much. They were forcing her to over race, and she was forced to over race badly in her last 2 runs. So with a great draw of 1, and if the Appy can just keep engaged with her, not let her over race, Elusive Bell's going to be a nice, quite a big runner.
Yeah, the way they structure these now, 64, but he's a big horse and he's a big galloper. So, and there's not a big spread in the weights with some of the nicer horses with a bit of form. So, yeah, listen, the weight doesn't get him. Also, he's probably also a bit better on the poly, but he's consistent and he's a trier.
He's dropping way down in class now to a D stakes. hard to believe that we are in a D-Stakes with him because he shows nice work at home. Anyway, we've thrown the cheek pieces on him just to keep him interested in the early stages, and he's got a good each way chance.
So there we go, a good each way chance. A horse who's probably just underperformed. Looking at the betting, number 7, King Bavarian, is 5-1, along with number 11, Festival of Magic. 14, Count Marsh, 6-1 with the wide draw. Number 1, Elusive Bell, 7-1, and then it's 8-1, and better the rest. Now, Graham, looking at race number 4, number 1, Elusive Bell, if you put that last run behind her, the third to King Bavarian brings her right into the show. And talking about King Bavarian, really quickened up well last time out.
Did. He's honest as the day is long. I've taken a huge chance in my suggested place accumulator, bankering number 7, King Bavarian. It's a very, very difficult start to the pick 6, this D-Stakes over 1,800 meters. We could have a Hiroshimic result here, but I'm trusting that King Bavarian, if he doesn't win, he'll be there and thereabouts, and hopefully, because you can go very wide. I think the way to play the place accumulator is take your principal fancies, go with this lighter perm, but then given that there is a possibility of some huge results, play a larger perm with just a percentage and hope that you survive and multiply up as much as you can. But Elusive Bell has actually got every chance of turning over King Bavarian from pole position, because with the apprentice claiming 4 kilograms and Elusive Bell just got 49 to shoulder, waited to turn the tables on number 7, King Bavarian. But I don't think Elusive Bell is as genuine as King Bavarian. I think King Bavarian always tries his best, and at least I think you're going to get an honest run out of him. But I don't like the race at all. Festival of Magic, as we heard there from Matthew, hard to believe that he's running in a D-Stakes, but he's clearly not reproducing on the track. The work he shows at home, Count Marsh has got the worst of the draw to overcome, which is going to be tricky. Blazing Lights yet to win on the turf, comes in with nice consistent form, but might relish, again we go back to the state of the going, you know, although he's never won on the turf and all his victories have come on the poly track, the fact that the ground is going to be that soft, that could get the best out of him. Connoisseur drawn nicely, could put a poor run behind him last time. It's not a race in which to nail your colours to the mast. In my main place accumulator, I'm taking my chances, bankering King Bavarian. I do think that Elusive Bell represents good value from pole position with 49 on her back, and is clearly a must for the opening leg of the pick 6. But it's, again, a nice race. If you can work out the quartet and get it right, you could be in for a very handsome quartet dividend. Very tough race, low grade. The average merit rating is 61. So I think you've got to play this, certainly from a pick 6 perspective, as wide as possible.
100% right, and when you look at number 1, Elusive Bell, Graham could be on the mark there with the value at around 7 and 8-1. Comes in the best weighted runner with Mxolisi Mbuto taking the 4 kgs off the back and just 49 kgs on the back. Number 1, Elusive Bell, might be the spring in the pack. But what Graham and I are saying in race number 4, as wide as your budget will allow. Next up is race number 5, 1430 over 1,800 meters, and Matthew de Kock will give us insight on his runners.
Yes, Nocturnal Flight makes a stable debut for us. He's not quite at peak fitness just yet, so we're going to learn a lot from the run. Going in there a bit unknown, but his track work's been decent. But like I said, there's scope for improvement, so whatever he does come Sunday, he's going to benefit from the outing. Yes, Trotwa Cuts in great form, works continue to be good, does have a bad barrier but doesn't break well, so he's never going to utilise a good one. He must have a good chance.
So there we go, looking for big runs from the Matthew and Mike de Kock stable. And race number 5 has the current betting. Number 1, Spirit of Lavana. She is the filly, and this individual best weighted at 22-10. Number 7, Nocturnal Flight, is at 6-1. 3, Field Marshal, 7-1 with a host of horses. Graham, let's kick off with the filly number 1, Spirit of Lavana. Now, she did win back-to-back victories, beating Auvergnian Goddess and French Flame, and of course finished second to Gimmy's Countess first time out, who fluffed her lines the other day. What do you make of Spirit of Lavana taking on the boys here? Although she is best weighted, is she a 22-10 shot?
I know that you're strongly in the camp of number 1, Spirit of Lavana. I've had a look at your perms that we will share later on, but Again, I go back to the stop-start nature of her career. I do know that Glenn Cotson thinks very highly of her, and she started off her career with a bang, as you say, running second to Gimmy's Countess, and then 2 wins in a row, and she's run against Quid Pro Quo. And even the run behind Lucrative, I think, is well above average, wasn't a bad effort. She possibly still needed that last run. This will be a third run after a rest. She was off the track for more than 6 months. So there was clearly a problem there of some, you don't just rest a horse for 6 months because there's no problem. So there was clearly an issue, but she has a third run after the break. She ran well enough behind Ice Rain to suggest that a win is imminent. She's cracked pole position. She's got Gavin Larena. As I say, Glenn Cotson does think a lot of the fillies. So you'll get a good run for your money out of Spirit of Lavana. And she's the best weighted by quite some margin. But I think the key horse in the race remains number 9, Johnny the Thief. He's won his last 3. There are others that are weighted to turn the tables on him, including French Trip. But, he might have more to come, this horse. I know he races off a career high mark of 90, and it's not going to be easy. It's never easy to win 4 in a row. But he's a nice type, and he's in very good form. But I don't think the race ends there. A Field Marshal is a runner that interests me. World of Our Own, we've got to assume that penultimate run was just a nightmare. So if you take that out, it's won its last 2. So View of the World, look at its track form, course and distance form, 5 starts, a winner second, and 3 thirds. So loves Hollywoodbets Greyville. Again, we sound like stuck records. This is a complicated card. French Trip, Q Wing, they could all come into the fray. But for me, I think the race centres around Johnny the Thief, but you can expect a really good run from Spirit of Lavana.
So there we go, number 9, Johnny the Thief. He could set the trend. He'll be looking for victory, number 5, and he's just one of those late maturers, and he's really found his straps of late, and he'll be looking for a 4-timer, and MJ Undal will have him spot on for the day. Next hit will be race number 6, and when it comes to race number 6, we have interviews with trainers Louis Goosen and also Stuart Ferry to guide us in the right direction.
Well, she's our own filly. She's a filly that we can't believe she's a miracle filly. We call her. She survived a disease which nobody knows what it is. My neighbour and myself we both had horses that had this mystery virus. They stayed at temperature for over 35 days. And eventually the horse next door was urinating blood, and they had to euthanize the horse. And with her, she pulled. Lauren worked very, 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 very hard. And we pulled her through. So it's her first run back, and we haven't had grass. But she's a tidy little sprinter who doesn't need a lot of work, so she could become a surprise package, having been off so long, but she hasn't had a proper grass gallop.
Yeah, we'll have to change the name because Mr. Campbell's got one with the same. And yeah, first run out the maidens, but she's I think she's improved a little. She's shown good work at home and not the strongest. And yeah, I think she'll be competitive. Definite quartet inclusion.
So there we go, throw into the quartet, Stuart Ferry recommending, and race number 6, just looking at the betting, number 5, Purple Powerhouse is your current 22-10 favourite, and scratched is number 8, Inner Fix. So there is a 25% deduction, so there will be movement in the betting, and Purple Powerhouse yet to win on the turf, so that is a slight concern. Number 3, Music is Life is 3-1, still a 1-time winner, an underachiever in my book. He should have been a 2-3-time winner by now. And then as you go through, number 2, One Irish Rover at 9-2, and then number 4, My Soraya at 9-2, 6-1, and better the rest. Graham, when the favourite is set up as number 5, Purple Powerhouse, a horse who's yet to win on the turf, it shows you the openness of the race.
Again, it's the bottom of the run, class 5, 1,000 metres. I think I was a young man when Purple Powerhouse last won, 1,147 days ago. But when you look at this race, you've got to say to yourself, if he ain't going to win this, then he really, really, really is never going to win again. Now, you've mentioned that he hasn't won on the turf. And he's won 4 races on the polytrack. But if you look at his turf record, 14 starts for 5 seconds, 4 thirds and 2 fourths. So 11 out of the 14, if you can run second, you can win. And I think this race surely sets up really nicely for him. He's fit, he's in good form, he's knocking very loudly at the door, and really, really, I think I wouldn't be rushing to claim the 22-10, and as you say, with the scratching of Inner Fix, there might be further adjustments to the market. But I do think he's going to be a tough nut to crack this time. I'd be disappointed for the connections if he didn't win this, because this race really sets up for him well. I am quite interested, and I've backed him up in the PA with Louis Huessen's runner. We heard the story there. Averni Princess. She's drawn in gate 1, but she hasn't run since August, so she could be short of a run, but she's small and she's nimble, and she could get away with it. You've mentioned Music is Life. Like you, I believe that he's underachieved in a huge way. Then you've got your usual suspects like Victor Rail and One Irish Rover, but I really am expecting Purple Powerhouse to end that winning drought. I'm not sure if he'll find his way to the winner's enclosure, even if he goes past the winning post first. He is a 4-time winner, so he knows what it is to win, but he hasn't done so for an awful long time. But I think this could be his day.
Well, this could be the change of the guard, where number 5, Purple Powerhouse, delivers that 5th victory to date, and let's hope that he can bring it forward and go through for the victory. Number 3, Music is Life. For me, that's going to be the main danger, so take some swingers and exactors, and then after that, horses like 1 and 2 worth throwing into the exotics. Heading into the hurdle of race number 7 over 1,200 metres, and this is the Gallop TV YouTube channel, Class 5 for the fillies and mares. And without any further ado, let's go to the package.
Yeah, you know, the thing with a good draw is we've also got to understand, we all cry for a good draw, but remember that with a good draw, you've got to use it or you're going to lose it. Drive-by, unfortunately, doesn't seem to use a good draw. Now, having said that, she's got a very sensitive mouth, and the Appy last time touched the mouth as she jumped, and she pulled her head up and she got left. So if we can get him to hold on to his neck strap and not touch the mouth, she shouldn't get left. And having said all of this, though, drive-by is better on the Polly, and there's no Polly at the moment. So we're running her. She goes to stud in a few months' time. She's a 6-time winner. She's a game little thing. But it just is, it's just unfortunate there's no Polly for her. So she's not a filly I can give you confidence with. She can arrive. She's run places over the turf, but I can't give you confidence. Dynasty's Last is probably the one I fancy a little bit more, because she does prefer the turf. You know, so she is a maiden taking on winners, but she's running thereabouts. And in a penultimate run, yes, she ran on Wednesday. She ran 3rd amongst the maidens, but the run that's in the race card, you'll see, she also ran a good race against winners. Not a bad run. So Dynasty's Last must have a place chance there.
So, a place chance for Dynasty's Last, and Drive-by, obviously a better horse on the Polly. And just looking at race number 7, I'm afraid we can't get any easier. Number 7, Vision to Achieve, is going to be my outright selection. Race 7, number 7, draw 7, and hopefully she can come through to do the business. She's got the 1 victory on the turf, 1 victory over the course and distance. And Graham, I'm leaning to Vision to Achieve with a 62.5 on her back. Gavin Lorena will get a good tune out of her, and she's one of those horses who's run behind Lucrative, RC Lancaster and the like. So if she brings her A game, she must have a definite chance. But when you take her out the equation, you can put 4 or 5 horses in the play.
Well, I've put 4 horses into the place accumulate in this leg, and there's only 10 runners, so I've got 40% of the field. But I am in your camp. My top choice would be number 7, Vision to Achieve. I think the fact that she's had 3 starts over track and trip for a win and a second means she's comfortable on the course. She also appears to be very comfortable on a soft track. She's run well in soft going. She's got top weight to shoulder, 62.5, but she does get the services, as you've mentioned, of Gavin Lorena. Louis Huessen, Drive-by, you mentioned, imminently off to stud. She's a half-sister to a Grade 1 winner, so she's certainly entitled to go to stud. I think on her best form out of pole position, if the apprentice can get her away on terms, she's going to be a player. You ignore the Craig Zaki Sean Tarry combination at your peril. Number 2, Sahara Dawn. The form is not strong. This again is the lowest possible grade. It's Class 5, fillies and mares, 1,200 metres. So again, it smacks of a potential upset. Dynasty's Last with only 52 on the back. There is a form update, ran 3rd under 4 lengths behind Your Ladyship last time. Quintasia must have a bit of a chance. The Queen Bee. Blush of Dawn, even with the apprentice claim, and in these conditions could suddenly bounce back to her best form. So it is, for me, I've put 4 horses into the place accumulate, and depending how you're playing your bets, even though we both like Vision to Achieve, you've almost got to say from a jackpot point of view, play 2 jackpots, take your chances, bank a Vision to Achieve in one and play wider in the other 3 legs, and then take a backup jackpot where you put the field in this race and go narrow in there. You know, there's more than one way of playing exotic permutations. It's not an easy race. I do think that Vision to Achieve sets a standard.
I believe number 7, Vision to Achieve, does set the standard. And then grade number 8, Blush of Dawn, as you mentioned, once upon a time was a 90, races over 61, minus the 4 kgs. Although being an 8-year-old, looking for that 7th victory, yet to win on the turf. So another runner that we're going to have to keep a close eye on. But 7, Vision to Achieve to win, and throw number 8, Blush of Dawn at around 20-1 into those exotics. 2 hurdles left to negotiate, races 8 and 9. So if you are looking to play the last double at Hollywoodbets Greyville, races 8 and 9, that's the races you have to take. In race number 8, Louis Goosen, he's going to give us some insight.
Rodriguez, he's a horse that's got under my skin. We all love him. You want to see this horse work. And now what we did is we're going to be putting blinkers on for this run and going to the 1200. He's won over a 12 before, you know. And so he's got a bit of speed. And when we brought him back from a rest with Appion, with Brevin on, he flew in a 1200. So you know what, Rodriguez, he could be a bit of a roughie for your exotics. But we are putting the blinkers on. We hope he doesn't over race too much.
So there we go, the comments from Louis Goosen in race number 8. Now, Graham, I'm going to start off with a long-priced horse. This horse is called 7, My Golly Molly. This is an individual who was in the Cape, went to Fairview's, been to Scottsville, been around the block a couple of times, from 100 down to a 76, but unfortunately has just lost the form completely. But I like the fact this individual's come down in the merit rating. So just having a look at this individual, 33-1. This could be a nice shooty for the exactors and the swingers.
Could be, for 2 reasons. As you've mentioned, he was a very highly rated horse. He showed tremendous potential as a 2-year-old. And he certainly is a mudlark. He won in bottomless ground in the Cape as a 2-year-old. He relished the softer ground. So that's going to suit him. The fact that he's plunged down the ratings. You know, he has his... his 4th run in the province, so no excuses on that front. But I'm going to sit on the fence with him. There are a lot of reasons why he could surprise, absolutely. And the ground is he's going to love the ground. There's no doubt about that. So My Golly Molly is certainly one to factor into your play, especially as far as the exactors, trifectas, quartets are concerned, because he's the one that could boost the dividend. I'm going to stick my neck out in this race. I'm going quite strongly with number 2, Moya Wala Liga. I'm going to be playing one of my bets. Is going to be the double Purple Powerhouse into Moya Wala Liga for the Hollywood Racing, and I think that Purple Powerhouse will get it right. And I think this horse, everything sets up very nicely for him. 3rd run after a rest. He's won 4 times. He's won all 4 on the turf. I know he hasn't won at this track, but I don't see too much. He's only had the 2 starts here. I think his first run he needed. He stepped up in his 2nd start. I think he's ready to go. There is a bit of money around for number 3, Who Blinked, which I do respect. But Slytherin, who beat Who Blinked on debut, hasn't done very much for that form. So, again, a bit of a question mark against the name of Who Blinked. And when you think that he's a one-time winner, and Moya Wala Liga has been around the block, won 4, and there's only 1 kilogram between them, I'd much rather be in the camp of number 2, Moya Wala Liga. I'm not quite sure what to make of the Raider, Antonio Gaudi. He jumps out of pole position. We heard there Rodriguez. Interesting, we heard there Louis Goosen. Hasn't been declared yet, so blinkers are going to go on to number 8, Rodriguez. So that change hasn't been declared yet, but expect blinkers to go on Rodriguez. There are a few around that could surprise. That Warrior of Royalty and Winter Waves, we know they've got the ability. Perhaps they're not showing it currently, but they have the ability to bounce back. But if you were to know, apart from Gurkha possibly in the first race, who would be the horse that I'm leaning most towards, fancying most strongly on the day, it would be Moya Wala Liga.
Well, Moya Wala Liga's got the draw, got the pilot, got the stable. Everything points in the direction of number 2, Moya Wala Liga. So that's the horse that we're going to stand out with. Throw number 7, My Golly Molly. 9 Warrior of Royalty, and Graham, one more say?
I think we must give number 13 Superfast a mention because, again, the 4-claimer in the testing conditions, 4 kilos off is a big help. So instead of carrying 58.5, now set to carry 54.5. And the apprentice is one on him. They're looking for a quick back-to-back double with number 13 Superfast. So obviously, but the draw is not in his favour. But having said that, he's got great gate speed, so he could get a soft lead. And in these conditions, you don't want to be giving anything a soft lead.
There we go with the 4 kgs off the back. Rip and go, and hopefully you stay on for the victory. Bringing down the curtain at Hollywoodbets Greyville will be race number 9, which is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 3 over 1,200 metres. And we have a couple of trainers lined up to give their comments.
Yeah, his horse is also holding his form well, and again, some good, smart company in Cape Town. Last time over 1,600 metres, he ran up to that horse. I thought he was going to come through to win or get that horse, and then he was going up and down the last sort of 50 metres, and I said to the owners, probably 1,600 metres, that's his very, very tops. Could be at his best over 1,400 metres. But he shows a lot of natural speed back home. He's got a lot of natural gate speed. He's also nicely drawn. He's out of a trippy mare. I'm also, I spoke to Craig Zach, we were discussing before I accepted to run him in this 1,200 metre race. And they said we can get away with it if he draws well, and fortunately he did draw well. So, and hopefully they just got a nice pace for him, but all is good. He's a nice horse.
Board, it'll be his 3rd run in 14 days, eh? So he's a 6-year-old and he thinks his trainer's going dippy, but he's probably right. The trainer's a bit dippy, but he's just so well within himself. If he's not right on the day, we won't run him. But he on Thursday morning he came out of rolling and he was on all 4 legs off the ground. Like he's behaving like a juvenile at the moment. Also like me when I've had a few drinks, like a juvenile. But he's one of those, and he's just very well within himself. Now his last run was a cracker, an absolute cracker. If you go and dissect the weights in the KZN stakes, it was a cracker. He ran a very nice race. So Smorgasbord, he's a big runner.
Yes, Accept Temptation, first run for the stable. His work's been nice and positive, but again, we're going to learn from the outing on Sunday, and I'm sure he's going to tighten up with the run.
Yeah, not well drawn, but he also likes to race up handy, so it's not too bad. Doing really well at home, and like I said, I think he should be very competitive too.
Yeah, Acacia's Blossom, we put her away for a year because of something in the foot. We could never find we even x-rayed the foot, we couldn't find what it is. And she's come back and the foot is perfect, and then she went and kicked the wall with her back foot. So this is horses. That's what you deal with horses. So at this point we'll have to look on the morning if she's going to run or not. We won't run her if she's not 100%. Also, she will need the run badly. She's had no grass coming back.
Well, as we talk, Acacia's Blossom is a scratching. So you heard from Louis Gerson. They've had setback after setback, and unfortunately Acacia's Blossom will stay in the box. Looking at the betting, number 2, Rich Folks Hoax for the informed Craig Zaki and Dean Kannemeyer outfit at 3-1. Number 5, Future Flow 33-10, and then you can get 7-1 and better the rest. Graham, looking at race number 9, listening to Louis Gerson about number 3, Smorgasbord, a horse that I fancied a few runs back when he won. He's having his 3rd run in 14 days, so there's one thing for certain, he will be super fit.
Yeah, and that could be a big plus. We mentioned repeatedly that horses' work programs have been interrupted by the consistent rain here in KwaZulu-Natal. So Smorgasbord comes into the race very fit. He's got a nice draw, and his last 2 runs have been very positive. So I'm not surprised that Louis is quite bullish about number 3, Smorgasbord. It's an interesting race because number 2, Rich Folks Hoax, has cracked a good draw. A bit of a question mark around the 1,200 metres. I think that Dean is probably right. 1,400 metres is optimum, but as we've mentioned over and over again, the track is going to be soft, so it's going to be a more testing 1,200. Future Flow, what a turnaround since winning his maiden. I mean, his last 6 starts, 4 wins and 2 seconds. He took forever to win a maiden and then just turned the corner in a huge way. And it's got to be a big player yet again here. Quandary, done enough to warrant respect. I think ultimately, here's a statement I'm prepared to go on record with. Ultimately, the best horse in this race could be number 12, Vian's Web. But he hasn't raced in September. He's only had the 3 starts. He's only had 2 as a gelding. He's by Vercingetorix out of a very good Captain mare. And Gareth Van Zyl reports that he should need the run. So he probably hasn't had enough work. He's drawn wide. So albeit that I've just mentioned that he could well turn out to be the best horse in this race going forward, I'm passing him by on this occasion for those reasons, the poor draw and the fact that Gareth Van Zyl believes he'll need the run. We heard from Stuart Ferry, King of Spin wouldn't be a surprise winner despite being drawn out badly. I've gone with numbers 2, 5 and 6 in the final leg of the place accumulator. I thought about bankering number 5, Future Flow, because he's just in that kind of form. And I wouldn't put anybody off. I'm talking about from a place accumulator point of view, because given his current form, it's hard to visualize him running out of the top 3.
Well, there we go. Number 5, Future Flow, in search of the hat-trick. Rachel Venniker for the Michael Roberts stable. They know this fella exceptionally well. He's been revitalized and he's now on the winning form. So number 5, Future Flow, 2, Rich Folks Hoax. Those are the horses we'll be keeping a very, very close eye on. And Graham did mention number 12, Vion's Web, a horse for the future. Keep a very close eye on this individual. Hopefully your runner runs faster than the rest of the field. That time of the show where we give our suggested bets for the meeting, and we're going to bring up my bet first up, and there we go, the bipod suggested bet, 1 and 2 in the opening leg by numbers 1, 2 and 8, by numbers 2, 4 and 7. And I'm going to take my chance and banker number 1, Spirit of Lavana, followed by 3 and 5, and then numbers 2 and 7 to wind up the bipod. That's my suggested play for the day. Graham, let's bring up your suggested bet for the day, and you can take your followers through.
Yeah, I'm going with the place accumulator. I think the race meeting sets up nicely for a place accumulator. 1 and 10 in the opening leg, which is race 3, due off at 13.20. That's Golden Destiny and Tyrconnell. Taking a huge gamble, bankering number 7, King Bavarian, in a very competitive race, but I'm hoping he runs his usual honest race and at least finds the top 3. 1, 3 and 9 in the third leg. 1 and 5 in the fourth leg. That's Averni Princess and Purple Powerhouse. There's another way of playing this PA by bankering Purple Powerhouse and possibly Future Flow at the back. So I'm going to be taking a few different perms. The widest leg I've gone is the 7th race, numbers 1, 6, 7 and 9. That's Drive By, My True Love, Vision to Achieve, and the Queen Bee. Happy to bank a number 2, Moya Wala Liga. I'm happy to fall on my sword if that doesn't arrive, Sheldon. And then 2, 5 and 6 in the last leg, Rich Folks Hoax, Future Flow and Quandary. Future Flow possibly also a banker, so probably end up taking more than 1 perm, but I hope that King Bavarian does me proud by at least finding the top 3 in a very competitive race.
Well, there you have the lowdown. We've both given our suggested bet for the Hollywoodbets Greyville meeting, and hopefully they come to fruition and we're in the winner's enclosure.